More than 20 years ago, a reporter from Vermont wrote an article about a strange road that crossed the border between the United States and Canada, 11 times in just over 3 miles. The reporter followed the road to see what he would find at its end. But every time he turned to follow the road further, he ended up right back where he started. This is the story of the mysterious U.S.-Canada road that crosses the border 11 times. It all started when a journalist named Peter Geiger was sent by his newspaper to report on a peculiar road in northern Vermont. It is a wedge of land formed by the confluence of the Connecticut and Lake Memphremagog, which forms the border between Vermont and Quebec. Because these two bodies of water meet at such a sharp angle, it creates a narrow strip of land along the shore, where the border between the United States and Canada runs right down the middle of the lake. For years, rumors had been circulating about a dirt road located near the town of Newport that seemed to have magical properties, where it is possible to drive from one country to the other without crossing any other state or provincial borders. He pulled over and got out of his car to stretch his legs. He looked around and realized that he was standing in the middle of a dense forest. There was no sign of civilization for miles around. This makes it a popular destination for those looking to do a little bit of international travel without having to go very far from home. He jumped and turned in the direction of the noise, but he couldn't see anything. He screamed and turned around to find a tall, thin man with glowing red eyes standing behind him. "Who are you?" Geiger stammered. "And how did you get here?" The man smiled, revealing a set of sharp fangs. But when they reached the spot where he had seen the Guardian, they found nothing but trees. Geiger wasn't sure what to make of it. Some say that the area is cursed, while others believe it is simply a case of mass hysteria. However, there are those who claim that the Guardian is real, and that anyone who trespasses in his territory will never be the same again. Had he imagined the whole thing? Or was there something more to this strange place? You may not want to take a drive down it. The Guardian is still there, and he is still waiting for trespassers. So beware. "I'm the guardian of this place," he said. "You're trespassing." Geiger's heart raced. Or watch mysterious abandoned island where time stood still. For another terrifying tale. He knew he had to get out of there, but he was frozen with fear. He decided to walk further down the road to see if he could find someone who could help him. He turned and ran as fast as he could down the road. He fumbled with his keys and started the engine. Then he slammed his foot on the accelerator and sped away. He could hear the Guardian's footsteps pounding behind him. He didn't dare look back to see if he was being pursued. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched, checked his car for any sign of damage or tampering, but found nothing. He tried to tell people about his experience, but they either didn't believe him or thought he was making it up. Instead, he focused on putting as much distance between himself and the creature as possible. But as he walked, the trees seemed to close in around him, and he could feel eyes watching him from the darkness. People who stumbled upon it claimed that once they entered it, he could see the Guardian standing at the edge of the forest watching him leave. Geiger shook his head in disbelief. What had he just experienced? Was the Guardian real, or had he imagined him in his fear? But when he tried to pay, he was told that it wasn't necessary. "Don't worry about it," said the attendant. "It's on the house. Just enjoy the rest of your trip." Geiger thanked him and headed back to his car, puzzled by the man's cryptic comment. The landscape changed slightly. In some areas, he found himself driving through thick forests. In others, he was surrounded by open fields. One sign, for example, pointed towards a place called Nowhere, while another indicated that Goat Hill was 2 miles ahead. Geiger was unsure if the signs were meant to be humorous or if they were some kind of warning. But no matter where he went, he never felt like he was more than a few miles away from the border. They were immediately transported to another part of the world. The locals he spoke with were friendly enough, but they gave him vague answers. When he asked about the area's history, or the reason why the border ran through the middle of a lake, they also warned him not to stay too long because strange things happen here. Others said that if you drove down this road, you could cross into Canada without going through customs or having your car inspected by authorities. Some even believed that the road was cursed. So off he went to find the truth behind the mystery of this bizarre roadway. Reporter found the road easily enough. It was a dirt track branching off from a larger highway near the Canadian border. He drove onto the track and soon realized there was something strange going on here. As he continued driving, the landscape around him began to shift from the rolling hills and farmlands of Vermont to the rugged mountains and dense forests characteristic of Quebec, Canada. He stopped for directions at a house he came across but received a strange response from the resident who told him, "You're not supposed to be here. Turn around and get out of here." Geiger decided to press on, ignoring the warning. Soon he came across a sign indicating that he had entered Canada. He crossed into the province of Quebec and passed through the small town of Cotacook, before reaching another sign informing him that he had re-entered the United States. Geiger didn't know it at the time, but he had just driven down a road that crossed the border between two countries 11 times in less than 3 miles. At first glance, it might seem impossible, but let me explain. The reporter had unknowingly entered one of the most unusual places in North America, a place where the borders between two countries are so close together that they practically touch. The area where Geiger found himself is known as the angle of the two countries. The area is unique in that it is one of the only places in North America. As Geiger continued his drive, he noticed that each time he crossed the border, he stopped again for directions, this time at a small roadside diner. Before leaving, Geiger made sure to fill up his gas tank at a nearby station. As he drove on, he began to notice strange road signs pointing in odd directions. Finally, after what seemed like hours, Geiger reached the end of the road. Just then, Geiger heard a loud crash in the bushes nearby. Suddenly, Geiger felt a cold hand grab his shoulder. The guardian took a step closer. "Get out now," he growled. Geiger didn't need to be told twice. After what seemed like an eternity, Geiger finally reached his car. He jumped in and slammed the door shut. As he drove, Geiger glanced in his rearview mirror. When Geiger returned to Vermont, he was shaken to his core. Determined to get to the bottom of the mystery, Geiger went back to the area with a friend. To this day, the mystery of the road that crosses the border 11 times remains unsolved. So if you're ever in the area and come across this mysterious road, be warned. Now check out the real monsters that live in the woods near our homes.